Good morning. Thank you for coming. My name is David Lutz. I am in my second year on the Eagan Foundation board, and I am the chair of the Community Grants Committee. It's my pleasure to kick off our festivities this morning and introduce each of the recipients of an Eagan Foundation grant for the upcoming year. What an exciting time to live in Eagan. What are we, the fifth best place to live in the U.S. according to USA Today? Everything the foundation does, just like your organizations, is a team effort. So let me introduce a few people from the board. I'd like everyone who's part of the board to stand up and be recognized. And while all of them are standing, let me call out a few in particular. Amy Hero Jones is in her first year as our administrator and is doing an outstanding job, and without her, none of this happens, any of what we do. Mark Streed is chair of our board. You'll hear his name a couple of times in a couple different capacities. Melinda Soy is the vice chair of our grants committee and is involved in pretty much every committee, making a lot of wonderful things happen behind the scenes. John Hohenstein, my predecessor in this role, is here today, and we thank him for not only setting the bar very high, but teaching us what we needed to know to try to meet the high standards he set. Let me call out a few thank you for the board members. Let me call out a few other people. Of course, the risk of doing so is that I'll leave someone out inevitably, so I apologize for that up front. Everyone who is here is extremely important, and if I forget and leave one of you out, I'm sorry. We have certain dignitaries here. City Administrator Dave Osberg is here. State Senator Jim Carlson. State Representative Joe Adkins, I believe, is here. Dakota County Commissioner Tom Eagan is here. Thank you all very much for coming here today to support us today and for all of your support of us over the years. We appreciate it. Our foundation is in the business of giving money away, which means that we need to bring in money. And to do so, we rely on donations, sponsorships, and fundraising. You saw the poster identifying and giving thanks to many of our sponsors, and please be sure to go through and take a good look at all of your fellow community members who are providing such great support to us. I do want to call out a few, though. We have here, or at least I think we have here, a few of our diamond sponsors: Shauna Strobridge from CSM Central Park Commons, John Johansson from Collier's Central Park Commons. Mark Street, who you already heard, is not only chair of the board, but is a representative of the law firm of Mesh, Besher & Spence, which is a diamond sponsor. Scott Swinson of Home Federal is a platinum level sponsor. Nicole Hansen from Thomson Reuters. Thomson Reuters is a diamond sponsor as a result of the huge donation that they provide to us in the form of printing up our scholarship book, and we sure appreciate that. Joe Mars of Anchor Investments, a gold level sponsor. Bob Newman, foundation volunteer, is here. Tom Lee from Blue Cross Blue Shield, a generous scholarship donor in the past. And then Mark Street again in an individual capacity, he and his wife as silver sponsors. All of us here today play a different role in our community, but whatever role we all play, we're united in the common interest of trying to do what we believe is best for Eagan to make it a wonderful place to live, work, and play and learn. And the foundation is probably best known for the scholarships. We've now given over 1,000 scholarships in our history. Last year alone, we provided 119 scholarships to graduating high school seniors, totaling just under $119,000. But we also have a long tradition of partnering with and supporting various nonprofit organizations, such as all of you, who in your own individual ways yourselves make Eagan the best place to live, learn, work, and play. The sheer number of organizations like yours in the community is staggering, but even more amazing is the wonderful work that you're doing in the community. Last year, we gave out grants totaling $7,325. I am happy to report that this year our grants total has increased by over 13%. This year we awarded $8,300. We were able to increase it this year because of successful fundraising over the last year. Our biggest fundraiser is the annual wine event. In the past, it's usually been in the spring or summer. This year, we're moving it to the fall with the hope of creating even more interest than it's generated in the past. We also were able to increase the number this year because of an anonymous donation of $10,000 from an Eagan family. If you are looking for tax deductible charitable contributions toward year end, or are starting to think about your legacy in later years, please keep the foundation in mind. We've made one change to our grants policy this year that I want to call to your attention. You've probably already seen it. We're trying to build synergy. The foundation has made many great connections in the community through all of you. You all have made wonderful connections in the community. We would like to leverage that. We would like to promote your organization through our network of social media and emails and so forth. So please, I encourage you to let us know of your upcoming events, and we will see what we can do to promote them. Similarly, when we have things like the annual wine event or other events, we would like the opportunity to tell you about them, and perhaps in your discretion, if you think it's worthwhile, you could let your contacts know. If we can continue to increase the grants process by 13% every year, we'll hit $15,000 in 5 years, and we would welcome your help to make that a reality. We thank ETV for being here and broadcasting it, and so please use the microphone so that everyone watching at home on TV later this month can hear clearly all of the wonderful things you do. We're going to take them mostly in alphabetical order, with one exception, and we're going to start with Kids in Kinship, which provides weekly youth activities such as swimming, bowling, movie passes, and so forth for Eagan kids in need of a positive adult role model. Their grant is $600. Rita Younger is here. Jan Belmore, I think, is going to be here, or was going to be here, maybe is here. And 13-year-old mentee Mark is going to tell us a little bit about his experience. Mark? Microphone is yours.
Thank you very, very much. Good morning, everyone. What an amazing number of fabulous people in this room. Grateful has always been one of my favorite words, and it certainly applies here. We are very grateful to the Eagan Foundation for continued support of our program. Kids in Kinship recruits individuals, couples, and families to come forward to mentor a child in need of support. And we've been serving this area for 44 years and are very, very proud to be a part of the Eagan Foundation. I could tell you more, but why do that when I have a fabulous person right next to me who can do so even better? I'd like to introduce you to Mark, who's been in our mentor program for several years, and he's going to tell you the rest of his story.
Thank you. Well, Kids in Kinship has meant a lot to me because I just sometimes need a break from my family, and so it's pretty nice to just kind of let loose a little with them. And so sometimes we might go like cross-country skiing, which I did last year for the first time. And I'm happy I learned because now I can use that for the rest of my life. And sometimes we just go for bike rides or just go out for like a nice little dinner. And so it really means a lot because they show me what a wonderful life really means and to have. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Kudos to the person whose bright idea it was to offload some of the talking from me so that you could hear from people that are really touched by these outstanding organizations. Next up is 360 Communities, which provides meals to women and children at the shelter. Its grant is $1,000, and Judy Bowman is here on its behalf. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you so much. We are 360 Communities, and I'm specifically with the Lewis House, and we've been in Eagan since 1979. And in that time, we've helped over 80,000 families We serve about 3,000 women and children every year at our shelters. We have a shelter in Hastings also. I'll tell you just a quick little story about what happened one night. We're open 24/7. I was working an overnight shift in the dead of January, super cold, and the doorbell rings, and there's a man and a woman, and turned out this woman was in a car with her boyfriend. He was beating her up and pushed her out of the car, and she was on the side of the road, and a Good Samaritan knew of the Lewis house and brought her to our door. And the kicker is she was wearing shorts, flip-flops, and a T-shirt. So basically, in that kind of weather, there was no hope. So your help and support allowed me to be able to grab a blanket, a pair of pants, a sweatshirt, socks, pajamas, all those kind of basic needs that we take for granted. Another situation, a family flees quickly, middle of the night. The kids need a backpack, school supplies, everything to kind of start fresh. So we're not a rich organization by any means, but we feel very rich and blessed by the great support we get from our communities. And we wouldn't be able to do it without your help and support. So thank you very much.
Brain Power in a Backpack is a Burnsville High School volunteer project that sends food home on weekends for children in District 191, some of whom live and attend school in Eagan. Their grant is $393, and Faye Finn is here to tell you more.
Thank you. Well, I thank you all for having me. This is my second year with the Eagan Foundation, and what we do is the high school kids, Burnsville high school kids, pack a bag of food for needy kids to take home on the weekend. We do the packing on Thursday, and the food arrives at the school by Friday. And on Friday afternoon, our needy kids get to take home food for the weekend. And many of these kids are able to get breakfast and lunch at school during the week, but when the weekend comes, there is little or nothing to eat. And on Monday, they're starving and they can't really pay attention at school. So this is just filling that little gap on the weekend. Now this year, we're at 500, well, our maximum this year was 593 students, and we hit that last week. And the good news is, this week, we get to reduce it by 2 because 2 children belong to a family that said, "Thank you so much for the food. It got us over our troubled spot, but now we don't need it anymore. So give it to someone else." So we're so happy to be able to provide this little service in our elementary schools. And all of the schools in our district get some of the food, including the kids in Eagan. So this grant is for the odd amount of $393 because it is buying us a storage shelf. We have grown 28% in the last year in the number of kids that we serve. So the food storage it's a growing problem. As you grow the number of students that receive the food, you have to store more food and get it out there on Thursday afternoon for packing. So this will buy us 1 additional storage shelf. And I appreciate that so much so that I don't have to keep lifting and moving food. Thank you.
In the grants process, we try to provide some balance between organizations that meet a very targeted need in our community, while also supporting some organizations that provide benefits to the entire community itself. And our next recipient falls in that latter category. Caponi Art Park provides various music and arts programs for people of all ages. And I'm embarrassed to say that I had lived here for many years before I got there for the first time. And now that I have, I'll be back regularly because it is absolutely wonderful. Cheryl Caponi is here to tell you more about it.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for this support. I was thinking on the way over here how long Eagan Foundation has been supporting the park. I think they were one of the first to support us, and it's much appreciated. And I feel very happy to be part of the list of the group of people that are being honored this morning, or being supported, I should say. because of all the good work all of us do. We have a policy of having free admission to the park and to all of our programs, and we do our best to make sure that everyone in the community knows about our programs so that everyone can take advantage of them. This grant will be helping to support our summer performance series. We've got a lot of very interesting groups from African dance to Japanese drumming to the complete works of Shakespeare. So we're trying to make sure that we're serving the interests and the needs of everybody in the community also. I had some other things to say, but I think I forgot. So I'll keep it short. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheerful Givers purchases birthday gift bags to enable community members at local shelters and food shelves to provide gifts to their children on their special day. Its grant is $600. The latest information I had was that no one from Cheerful Givers could be here today. Has that changed? In that case, I will read to you from their website, which says, "Everyone deserves a birthday. Your support helps us purchase items and supplies to make birthday gift bags for children who are homeless or living in poverty. The gift bags are distributed to a food shelf or shelter and placed in the hands of children in need." So, Cheerful Givers. The Eagan Art Festival celebrates the art and culture of our community, including its primary event, the two-day Arts Festival. Its grant is $750. My latest information was unclear. Okay, great, wonderful. So, Eagan Art Festival. And why don't you introduce yourselves to the group too?
Sure, I'm Karen Sames. I'm currently the president of the Eagan Art Festival.
I'm Wanda Borman. I'm the executive director.
And of course, we want to thank the Eagan Foundation for this wonderful grant. The Eagan Art Festival is now in its 22nd year. We invite you all to come to the festival this summer. It's always the last weekend in June, so June 25th and 26th at the Community Center grounds. We bring in over 100 artists and over 8,000 visitors to the community on that weekend. And it's a wonderful event. There's art, there's music, there's food. And so this grant is to help us with the art festival. And then the other thing that the Eagan Art Festival Board does is we sponsor 2 scholarships that are administered by the Eagan Foundation to go to students who plan to study in the arts. And we also provide scholarships to members of the Eagan community who want to take classes at the Eagan Art House but are not able to afford the cost of the courses. So.
The Eagan Men's Chorus provides concerts, performs concerts throughout our community, including at retirement communities. Its grant is $250. Paul Carlton and or Norm Peterson are here on their behalf.
Well, good morning. We continue to do what we have been doing, for the past number of years, and that's perform 25 to 30 concerts each year, primarily in senior centers and veterans facilities, taking music, to folks who can't get out, and enjoy it in the wider community. So we appreciate very much your continued support.
Thank you. Eagan Theatre Company performs plays in our community, including Audition for Murder coming up this weekend and perhaps the following weekend. I'm seeing it on Saturday. Its grant is $450. Do we have Kay Brown or Mike Obermuller here? Well, Mike is apparently playing lead in this weekend's production. So Perhaps he's finalizing the lines. In any event, I'll tell you, I've been to a couple of their productions, and they do a wonderful job and a great treasure in our community. Their grant is $450, and we will get it to them separately. Eagan Women of Note is a women's singing group based in Eagan that performs around the community. Its grant is $500. Last I heard, we weren't sure that anyone from there would be here. Did that change? All right. Next up is EHS Robotics First. The robotics team at Eagan High School, its grant is $500. And we have at least Morgan Davies and others, it appears.
I'm Morgan, and this is Maeve. We're from the Eagan High School robotics team. And part of robotics is not only just building a robot, but also going into the community and teaching kids and members of the community about STEM. And a big part of our outreach actually is to work with other teams in the area. And this grant specifically was to help build a field for a practice competition that we're hosting. We invite teams from the Minnesota, Wisconsin area to come be able to practice. It's at the end of our build season, so it's really important for them to be able to practice and test out their robot and bring them into the Eagan community and give them a positive experience. So we thank the Eagan Foundation for that. Thank you.
Good luck. The Link provides the Lincoln Place Apartments, which provide housing and services to homeless youth ages 18 to 24. Its grant is $600, and Lindsay Halleckson will tell you more about it.
Good morning, and thank you so much for your support. As you said, the Link provides housing for homeless youth across the Twin Cities, but here in Eagan at Lincoln Place Apartments. This year, we are also able to open up CORE, which serves youth throughout Eagan as well as Dakota County. And they provide basic needs, access to housing, connections with education and employment opportunities as well. And this year, of course, Eagan, the youth at Lincoln Place Apartments are super involved in programming at the Link and throughout the community. And our youth are involved with a couple different advisory boards at the Link, the Insights Committee and also Project Live Out Loud. And they are responsible for overseeing the Link's programming and make programming decisions. They also inform new programming that we're developing. And so we give them employment opportunities and ways to enrich their professional development. So thanks again to the Eagan Foundation for supporting Lincoln Place Apartments. And we're happy to be a part of this Eagan community.
The Open Door provides the mobile lunchbox summer meal program for Eagan children. Its grant is $1,000. Chris Albright and or Nancy Wester are here to tell you more.
Good morning. I'm Chris Albright, the Interim Executive Director of the Open Door, and we are so grateful for the support of the Eagan Foundation and the Eagan community as a whole. We serve between 5,000 and 6,000 people each month through the food shelf, providing them with fresh food and canned food in a select manner. They get to shop by themselves with the help of a shopper. And so this donation will provide us with about enough money to provide 4,000 meals this coming month in a time when we are a little low on donations. And I could go on forever with stories, but Nancy Wester of our organization has made a little handout sheet for you to take with you. And it is notes that we have received from the clients who receive this food. And when you read them, you will read just how very grateful in their very own words and in their very own hand that they are to receive this food from all of you who stand up and donate to us. So thank you all very, very much.
We're in the home stretch. Last, but certainly not least, is Treehouse, which provides activities for at-risk youth. Its grant is $250, and Paul Maloney will tell you more.
Thank you. Super thankful to be here. Some of you may not know, but Treehouse has been in the community, in the Twin Cities for 31 years. This is the 9th branch to open up. And knowing how long and how much effort it has taken to open up all the other branches, it has been an absolute breeze for us here in this community because of amazing organizations and grants that are thinking about the community and trying to do something about the community and pouring back into it. So not only thank you for the grant, but also for all the other amazing organizations here that are really, really putting in an effort for the community. A little bit about what Treehouse does. Like you said, we serve at-risk and troubled youth in the Twin Cities. We do 7th through 12th grade. We have support group programming and a few other elements of programming, one-to-one mentorship. With our first only 10 teens in the door at the Eagan Treehouse, 2 of which their parents were drug addicts and 2 of which their parents were the result of a murder. So these kids are in our communities, and we're trying to raise awareness about that, but also try to get them through the doors and as much help as we possibly can. So that's a little bit about us. We've been opening up since this past March, and have already seen over 100 different teens and have weekly programming. And we also have ride services and dinner service and other things like that. We're just trying to get as much as we can. So thank you very much.
I just want to say a couple things. First of all, I want to thank David. John Hohenstein had this role when he was on our Eagan Foundation board and done a wonderful job. And I was a little concerned about how it was going to continue on. But David Lutz has done a wonderful job, and I want to thank David. Everybody should thank him. And I was talking to a couple, Cheryl and Christine, about, when you're in an organization like this or any of yours, when you've got a board where people not only serve on the board, but get in there, roll their sleeves up and do the work, it's a wonderful thing. And that's what's been going on with the Eagan Foundation. I want to thank Melinda, who helped greatly as assistant chair and hopefully maybe next year's chair, who knows. And her husband, Jeff, who stepped in today to be our official photographer. Thank you for doing that. And thank you all for coming. One more thing. I want to thank Glenn Elliott, one of our board members, who is always Johnny on the spot. I'm proud to call him a fellow Moorhead Spud. And he's got the local Dunn Brothers on Diffley, and he's donated the coffee today. So thanks, Glenn.
And in the vein of the best morning meeting is one that ends early, let me just thank all of you for coming and thank all of the organizations for all the wonderful things that you do. I've lived in the community for 21 years, so I don't really have a baseline for comparison, but I can't imagine that there are many communities that are doing more wonderful things through more organizations than Eagan is. So thank you very much. Keep up the outstanding work. We would love to do more for you next year, which means that we need help from the community. Please stay tuned for details about our fall wine event, which is our big fundraiser, an opportunity to taste different wines and beers and have wonderful food and so forth. There's a lot of synergy amongst our organizations in the community, and we would like to build that synergy in the future. And the more support the foundation gets, the more support the foundation can provide to all of you. So thank you again for coming.